Hello, everybody. It is Monday, November the 15th, 2021, and it's time for another episode of AMA Air. Coming up today, we've got our foundation director here to tell us a little bit about Giving Tuesday.
And we will share with you the cover photo for December's Model Aviation magazine.
And we've got a very special birthday shout out that we want to send out. All that and more coming up today on AMA Air. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of AMA Air. My name is Matt Ruddick.
I am Lee Ray.
Hello, Lee. Welcome back to the land of the living. I know you've been out doing a lot of crazy stuff this weekend.
I had a long weekend. Yes, I did. How was your weekend?
You know what? It was pretty uneventful, and that's the way I like to try to keep it. It's gotten much colder and much nastier here in Indiana. So I'm just trying to stay warm at the moment.
So it's build time, right?
It is build time here in Indiana. Absolutely.
It was flying time in Texas.
It's build time and indoor flying in Indiana. Let me put it that way. Yeah, you guys had some pretty amazing weather down there for a very special event. I know one you've been looking forward to for quite some time. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about the Round Top RC Expo?
Yes, it was a great weekend. It turned out so well. We've been planning this for about a year, and I can't tell it all in the amount of time that you guys have allotted for me today. I'm sure I'll share more about it on our RC Roundtable podcast. But this is a video I took over at Thunder Field in Round Top, Texas. And I really want to give a big shout out to Fred and Susan Massey, who own this property, who funded this whole event. It is amazing. We had over 114 pilots, probably 500 plus spectators and guests over the 3-day weekend. I was there since Thursday, but there were some guys that were camping out on Monday, and it was just amazing. And I don't think we could have asked for better weather, except for maybe a little bit of less wind and direction. But it didn't seem to stop anybody because this was a giant scale warbird event. So it was really meant for large planes only. And boy, when I talk about large planes, I don't just mean tiny little RC planes that have an 80-inch wingspan. I'm talking about Stearmans that came by. We had a full-scale Stearman do a flyby of our field. It was gorgeous. He came twice to us, I think on Friday and Saturday. But it was for big airplanes, and not only that, we actually had the largest RC airplane in Texas fly out there. And I'll show you more about that. So Dylan, our wonderful producer, is showing some photos I took over the weekend. And I got to tell you, Matt, and you are like this too. When you have events at IAC, you get so wrapped up in participating and walking around, and it's a large area, and you want to talk to people. And I just was nonstop. And I want to give credit out to these two guys. That's Greg Yancey on the left and Randy, the man Larson on the right. He probably had no voice come Sunday because he talked his butt off, but he was great. He was so good at knowing, certain planes and certain people and giving credit where credit was due. Randy is one heck of a guy. So he and his Texas Warbird Thunder team put on a great flying event. So those were guys. And hey, our own District 8 VP, Lawrence Harville, was out there, and he brought some other guys with him, some from the AMA. You'll see photos of them shortly. But we had a lot of warbirds out there. We'll just click through a couple of photos here. And again, it was just an amazing event. Oh, by the way, I love that photo. Oh, yeah, that's aluminum tape.
Love that finish, yeah.
There. Yeah. And if you go to this is the man, Fred Massey, again, the owner of the property. This is him talking to the pilots who came in. We had, I think, 4 different aircraft do flybys. 2 of them landed. 2 little, one was a Super Cub, I believe, and the other was a Decathlon. And they actually came down.
Scale.
Full scale, landed on our 1,000-foot runway. Those suckers can do that. This is my friend Mike Leibel's B-24 dropping bombs over on Thunder Field.
Not one of the full scales?
Not one of the full scales. Although it's funny because in a second we're going to see a photo here. I'm going to ask you, is it live or Memorex? This is a lovely C-47. Here's a great story about this one, Matt. This plane right here was built by the pilot's grandfather. That's how old that plane is. And
Really?
he kept it together and flying, and that was a really beautiful flying aircraft.
That's
Super
amazing.
plane. So I love the C-47s. This Bearcat won an award. I forget. I think it was maybe civilian or post-war. I think it had a Moki in it. Oh, and this is a fun one. You want to know who owns that plane right there? I don't know if you can see the name under Randy Larson. Randy Larson, the guy I mentioned earlier, he built that plane on a top flight, but that is Lawrence Harville's plane.
Oh, I do see his name underneath that now. Yeah.
This is great.
Wow.
Randy gave it away as a raffle prize, and I think that it was $100 a ticket. I think Lawrence bought two tickets, and he got that airplane. Buys for $200. That is a steal, by the way.
Yeah.
So Lawrence flew all day with that sucker. And again, just a lot of great giant scale warbirds out there having a grand old time. And then here, I am just so grateful for Chad to bring several people down from Indiana. This is Chad Boudreau there in the foreground, talking with a pilot. And under the tent, we had Rich Hansen. There he is, chatting with some folks. And by the way, they were always busy and talking. Randy Cameron's talking with some people. I was so glad we had representation there, and we gave them the mic at one point just to talk and welcome there. So again, thanks guys for coming. Hey, and what's an RC event without Herbie the Love Bug?
Of course.
Again, my buddy, I'm a big, huge Beetle fan. I love Volkswagen Beetles. Randy, I mean, he resurrected that from scraps, and he did a beautiful job bringing it. And that was great for the kids. You know, a lot of kids kept busy. We had RC tanks that the kids could play with, and RC cars out there in the back too. Again, I could sit here and ramble for the rest of the show. I won't do that. I'll save you guys, and I will just click through the rest of these. But again, before I go, I want to just give shout outs to Fred and Susan Massey. Oh, I will. Hey, I have to stop here. This is our former governor of Texas and a presidential candidate, Rick Perry, who was there for the dedication of Thunder Field.
Oh, very cool.
And now, Matt, I'm going to give you an inside joke.
Okay.
When I saw Rick Perry, Fitz was talking to him, my Fitz Walker. And I went, wow, Rick Perry's here. So I ran over to Fred. I say, hey, Fred, did you know Rick Perry's here? And Fred, bless his heart, just stared at me just like a deer in headlights and said, who do you think invited him? You know, what do I know? What do I know? So he and Rick are good friends, and you know, it's like, okay, you got me. and that's Fred and his family. And I think I have another photo coming up here, which I think is coming up. Oh, this is the Memorex photo. Is this live or
yeah,
is it a real plane or an RC plane, guys?
Be curious to see in the chat. Is it real? Is it full scale, or is it a model?
And forgive me, I don't remember the name of the pilot. I know Randy would probably kick me for not remembering, but this is a full-scale P-51 that did a flyby for us at the field. And boy, we had so much fun with those guys coming over. It's just, we do it big here in Texas, FYI. Oh, and by the way, there's the largest RC plane in Texas. And I'm not kidding you. That's about how big it is. It's a big aircraft, big hunk of wood.
Wow.
That's my buddy Barry.
I love that.
That's a Starfighter. Unfortunately, his nose gear didn't come up, and he was taking that off on grass. So, kind of risky. I'm not sure the grass had anything to do with the gear.
I'm impressed that he was willing to take that off on grass. That's that would make me a little nervous, but kudos.
That's my friend Fitz's Val. And hey, guys, this is awesome. I had to throw a fun one in here, and I had to play with my friend Fitz. Guys, Fitz Walker. One of the nicest guys you'll ever run into, and I don't even think he bought any raffle tickets, but they had an award for anybody who flew with a special sticker, and his number was drawn, and they surprised him with this, I'm not kidding you, giant scale Bearcat, and he was completely flummoxed. He just was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And it was so big, it wouldn't fit in his car, so I had to haul the fuselage home for him.
Now,
that's what friends are for, right?
I've seen Fitz's workshop and his storage room that he has. Has he got room for that thing?
He'll make room. He'll make room for this. And they were all saying, don't you dare put an electric motor on this. You better put a gas motor on it. And,
oh, that's so awesome. I got to tell you, Lee, I am more than a little jealous. This looks like just an amazing event that you guys had with an incredible turnout. I got to say, that's the thing that is just the most amazing part is how many people you guys had out there having fun and enjoying this hobby. That's just fantastic.
Well, here's my plug. This was the inaugural event. We knew coming in there'd be some issues and people would want to provide us with their suggestions. And by the way, that's great because we want to make it bigger and better. So we are going to get together in a few weeks to talk and to go over 2022's Round Top RC Expo. And we promise it will be bigger and better. We're going to shoot for at least 225 pilots, I think, next time, and maybe 1,000 people, and really get the word out. So we had a great time. I'm so excited. I was tired as heck yesterday coming back, but I'm glad I was able to share those photos with everybody.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that with us. And again, guys, if you want to learn more about the Round Top RC Expo, head over to the website you see at the bottom of your screen, rtrcexpo.com. You can learn all about the event, and I'm sure that's where people can kind of be on the lookout for any potential announcements for next year's Round Top RC Expo. Once again, thank you, Lee, for sharing all that stuff with us. I'm jealous. I miss going to these big events, and I'm certainly hoping that 2022 allows us to do a little bit more of that. So, well, let's switch gears. You're welcome, and talk a little bit about the holidays we got coming up, because everybody, look, Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving because it's Turkey Day. I love having me some turkey. It's very apparent. And one of the cool things about that whole stretch there is that we have a lot of little holidays that come in right after that, which things like Black Friday, which is the busiest shopping day of the year. You've got Small Business Saturday that happens right after that. What Cyber Monday is on the following Monday, but one we don't really talk a whole lot about, and we should be talking more about, is Giving Tuesday. And to help us talk a little bit about Giving Tuesday and to learn a little bit more about it and how you guys can participate, we want to welcome in our AMA Foundation Director, Kelsey Walker. Thank you, Kelsey, for joining us here today on AMA Air.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Lee. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Kelsey, there may be some folks out there that don't know what Giving Tuesday is. Why don't you give them a little bit of a primer on what Giving Tuesday is and how they might be able to participate?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit of historical background. Giving Tuesday was created in 2012. There were two nonprofits that operate out of New York City. And, as you were saying, we have Thanksgiving time, which is about gratitude and generosity and being with family and friends. And then we kind of have this slew of shopping days where it's all consumer culture and, we got to go and get these things and we got to prepare for Christmas. And they really thought that there needed to be a day built into that Thanksgiving time where we think about giving back. And so they created this day, Giving Tuesday, in the community that they live in. And they really just engaged their community members to think about giving back and to donating so that these organizations could meet their mission. So bringing that into the present time, Giving Tuesday this year is November 30th. And that is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And this is really a day for our members, our AMA members and donors, to think about how you can give back to AMA and how you can help support the different programs that we run and that we have in our communities and for our clubs.
So what are some of the things, like, and I know we've talked about this before, but when someone donates to the foundation, there are a whole host of things that money goes to that our normal dues don't actually help support. What are some of those things that people support when they donate to the foundation?
Great question. So the foundation, when we raise money, we support any charitable programming. So that covers scholarships. All of our university scholarships are funded through donations, and we distribute about $50,000 a year in university scholarships. We also support the National Model Aviation Museum. So when we have a group of dedicated museum patrons, and from that fund, we are able to help the museum do gallery expansions and acquire artifacts. We also support our educational programming, which covers everything from AMA Junior Camp, which is a virtual offering that we have that was started in 2020 during the pandemic and has since then been very popular. We've had a lot of participants. Our in-person Camp AMA that brings youth here to the IAC and helps. Lee had, I believe, had a child participate this year.
Both of them, and I got to join too.
yeah, that's amazing.
I had fun.
And it's really like a very in-depth engagement into building and flying and experimenting, and the kinds of connections that are made intellectually and socially are really amazing for those young people who are able to come out here.
I'm going to touch on the scholarship because that to me is being that I'm a father of a 17-year-old and that this is his hobby. Now, I'm guilty. I'm the one who got him influenced, but I love seeing him make these huge leaps and bounds. And like in robotics, I'm going to brag now, daddy pride time. He's got like 103 average in robotics in his high school class because he loves doing the bonus stuff. He likes going the extra mile. And I think his teacher actually told him to back off a little bit, but it's that time. It's this time in our lives where as parents, we're looking for those scholarships for our kids. We want them to go to college. And I promise you, I will be pursuing or pushing him to pursue the scholarship from the AMA because it just fits his desires, his passion.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. And a quick plug for scholarships. Those applications are due February 1st of next year. So do make sure if you know somebody who will be...
hey, Austin! Get to work! Sorry.
Who's a high school senior and they will be pursuing college in the fall next year, have them visit our website and apply for those for sure. So education, the museum, scholarships, the thing we were just talking about. Scholarships, all of those.
Flight site improvements. I was gonna jump into to Mike Barbie doing all the work for Site 4. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All these improvements that we're trying to make it better for these people coming here. That's part of the foundation, correct?
Yes. So our programs fund is an all-encompassing fund. It helps support a lot of different things like education, the museum, but also site improvements out here at the IAC. We hold national competitions every year. This has to be the premier site, and it needs to look nice and be well groomed and have the latest and the best amenities. And so when you support the programs fund, you also are helping support this site here in Muncie so that we can have fantastic events similar to the one that you guys had out in Texas this past weekend.
Thank you.
So yes, November 30th. This is coming up in a couple of weeks. I really encourage you to, if you were thinking about making a year-end contribution, this year, if you're looking for a place to put your required minimum distribution from your IRA, some of those who are required to take money from your IRA, you can make it to a charity, a qualified charity, and that will help reduce your taxable income. You can donate online at modelaircraft.org/donate. You can also mail in a check or cash if that's something that you're interested in.
Well, and that's what I mentioned earlier is that I remember when I get my renewal. Now I'm a life member now. I renewed to be a life member, so I won't get those renewals anymore.
You will actually, Lee.
Yay!
We're putting you don't get away from it. Even when you become a life member.
I'm so glad I said that so you can correct me. But I remember last year I had a little extra money and I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I think I divvied up to every possible fund that you guys had, including my membership renewal. So it's that simple. But you're right. If you just go to the donate page and click on general fund, would that be the easiest one to click on, Kelsey?
Yeah, so we have 5 funds listed there. General fund, which is kind of our area of greatest need fund. You'll hear that. We have the most flexibility with that money to push it into things that come up or that are where we need to put it. And then we also have a programs fund, which we spoke of. We have a scholarship fund. When we have our museum patron fund, and we also have the endowment fund, which is a gift that keeps on giving. When you give to the endowment, that money is held in perpetuity, and the income is what we use to spend. We don't ever touch the principal. So I always really love to think of the endowment as my gift will always keep giving. It's one thing for the money to be spent at one point in time, but when you give to the endowment, that money is invested, and then the income is what we use to help support programs.
Very nice.
And of course, all this goes toward the foundation's year-end goal, and you're getting very close to meeting your goal for 2021. How closer have we gotten here, Kelsey? Are we getting really close here at the end of the year?
We are getting really close, and I'm really happy to report that at the moment we're at 71% of our goal. So our fundraising goal is a little over $272,000, and we're at about 71%. So in the fundraising world, it's a common metric to raise 30% of your fundraising goal just in the month of December. So I feel really good that we are halfway through November, and we are doing really great with our goal. And I'm really hoping that our members and donors will meet us there halfway and make their year-end contribution. Help us get to 100%.
And a great way to do that is to give on Giving Tuesday. Again, that's coming up Tuesday, November the 30th. That's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. Again, you can go to modelaircraft.org/donate to make that contribution on Giving Tuesday, or any other day for that matter. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us on the show to talk a little bit about Giving Tuesday and the foundation. And we'll let you go, but thank you for taking some time out today.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure to speak with both of you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye, Kelsey.
Well, coming up right after this break, we're going to talk to you a little bit about iFly AMA and a whole lot more. So stick around. We'll be right back right after this. Make STEM education energizing and fun with the AMA's International UAS for STEM competition. This challenging team event is a great way to experience the exciting world of unmanned aerial vehicles. Teams start with ground school, then present at semifinals showcasing their unique builds and designs. Top scoring semifinalists receive an invitation to compete at EAA Oshkosh Air Venture 2022. Sponsorship opportunities are available. Find out more by visiting uasforstem.org. Said, are you ready? Are you ready for iFly AMA? That's right. It is that time of the show where we get to talk about all things iFly AMA. If you guys are not yet a member of the iFly AMA Facebook group, guess what? You can do it today. It's free to do. Go over to facebook.com/groups/iFlyAMA. Click that join button, answer a couple of questions just so that we know you're not a robot, and you can join the community we have going on over in the iFly AMA Facebook group. An amazing community full of people who are sharing all sorts of content, all sorts of tips, tricks, stories, you name it. There are all sorts of stuff in there in that group for everybody to enjoy. And this is that part of the show where we get to share some cool things we've seen from people like you. And Lee, do you want to take it, or do you want me to take the first one?
Oh, you go first. I had my long talk early in the show. It's your turn.
Well, guys, first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying, and I know this is going to come as a shock, I'm a little bit of a nerd. No. And hey, I'm a Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars, and this post came across actually I think just yesterday, and it is from David Pauly. He found some photos of his friend's Joe Wambach's X-Wing model that he completed several years ago, and this came from original plans from the late 1970s. So this is deep in the heart of Star Wars. Emergence into pop culture. He says, "This is my understanding. This model was partially completed, and Joe finished the model to fly in their annual Greater Cincinnati RC Club Flying Circus event, which we've talked about here on the show before. The model was a bit on the heavy side, but once he got it off the ground, it had a lot of presence in the air with the Star Wars music tracks played during the show, which I would have loved to have seen that. That's pretty fantastic. And there's a couple of photos there, even one with somebody had a replica R2-D2 in there, which I fully appreciate. Oh yes, I'm sure he would. Absolutely. That's just too cool. It's is it a perfect replica of an X-wing from the screen? Not quite, but you know what? It flies, and that's the important part. I think it looks pretty awesome as far as I'm concerned. What kind of motor is that in there? It looks like a
it might be an OS 40, maybe.
yeah.
I think he mentioned it, didn't he?
It
Was
does.
it
An
an OS 10?
OS 45.
Oh, OS 45.
FS,
Okay.
yeah.
I missed it by
So
that
very
much.
cool. Missed it by that
That
much.
much.
So just I love seeing these unique designs like this. We've seen some folks more recently do some X-wings out of foam. Friend of the show, Adam Woodworth, he has built a foam X-wing, and which was pretty amazing as far as I'm concerned. But this is such a cool example of like an early scratch built X-wing. I just absolutely loved it and had to share it here on the show with all of you guys who are watching.
Now,
So
if I had access to the plans, I would have made one change. I would have probably made it a pusher instead of a push. But of course, CG is the big issue, so that's probably why you had to put it all the way up the nose. But
yeah,
we can have fun with that.
I'm thinking as a pusher, I feel like that would have made it pretty weird in terms of a lot of tail heaviness going on, I think.
But this is where you have fun. You make it electric, and you do it like a P-63, like a Cobra, where you put the engine like in the middle, and you just run a shaft down to the back just to turn the prop. So you can have fun with CG. And it's probably a lot of stuff we can do with that. So, Matt, you and I were talking earlier about not having finding the plans online. So we asked if anybody can, has access or where these plans are available, let us know.
Yeah, I did a little bit of search, and I looked in our AMA plan service. I didn't see the plans for this specific one, but yeah, if you guys have seen these plans, he says in the post these are from the late 1970s. If you know where they're at, put them in the comments. Let us know. We'd love to see them, check them out, and maybe somebody out there would like to build their own version of this. So very cool. Again, David Polly, thank you so much for sharing that, and also Joe Wambach, thanks for building that and sharing those pictures as well. So Lee, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Let's see what you got for us here this week.
Matt, you're gonna love this because I don't have to talk at all. I'm just gonna show you the photo, and it does all the work for me. You ready? Every now and then, it doesn't have to be, flying related, or it doesn't have to be a build tip or anything. Sometimes it just needs to be a funny, right? So there's your cartoon for the day. It's just a great eye test. But you know what is even funnier is that there's so many people that responded. What is it up to now? 130, 190?
190.
190. There's just tons of people responded because it gets you. You just go, oh, I'm off to this. I think one guy wrote that says, oh, I got to go to the hobby shop.
Yep. So anyway, I must be sick. I need a new airplane.
Well, I enjoyed that a lot. So thank you for Tracy, who I think posted. Tracy Reyes, I believe he was. I have seen it before. I think it's made the rounds, but seeing it and I just chuckled again. That made me laugh. Yeah, sometimes the comments are just as good.
Sorry,
right?
that caught me off guard. You know what? We all need a good chuckle on a Monday afternoon. That's how I look at it. Well, thank you, Lee, for sharing that with us. And again, thank you all for sharing so much amazing content in iFly AMA. Again, facebook.com/groups/iFlyAMA is the place to go, and just click that join button, answer a couple of questions, and you'll be accepted into this wonderful community. I know I have a great time in there. I'm sure Lee does as well, and I hope you guys do also.
And just a reminder, I'm the guy who lets you in. So if you don't leave a comment, there's a chance you may not make it in. So all you have to do is just make sure you fill them out. They're very simple questions like, what's your birthday? What's your credit card number? Where can we reach you? Have you extended your car warranty insurance yet?
Oh boy.
Stuff like that. If you just answer those few questions, I'll let you in.
We're gonna get phone calls now.
Trust you. But you know what? Speaking of the group page, I wanted to talk about the cover photo.
Yes.
We have a great photo that's up there right now. That young kid, he's 10 years old, right? Who's got his turbine waiver.
Yes.
That's amazing. So Kyler, So we had that photo submitted in the contest. We have a running contest on iFlyAMA. So it's in there. Go find the link. It's at the top of the page under featured links. And if you have some fun photos to share, I know I have a few, please post them in there. And whoever gets the most votes, likes, hearts, whatever, we will we select a winner, and then we'll announce it on our next episode of AMA Air.
Absolutely. Get those awesome photos posted and as quickly as possible. Well, let's switch gears a little bit again. You're welcome.
Let's do this.
You know what? I tell you what, folks watching at home, if you think that I need a better catchphrase than switching gears, put it in the comments and let me know. And
it's probably no, don't change it. It's probably a drinking game. So you change it breaks the game.
Hey,
so
it'll just cause me to switch gears to a different a different phrase. So we wanted to let you guys know about Model Aviation. The December issue, the digital edition, goes live today. I'm not sure if it's live right at this moment, but you should be getting a notification here shortly this afternoon, if not. But the December issue is coming out, and we want to share with you guys a little bit about what's going to be in that issue, including the cover for December. And here it is, this double photo cover here we've got going on of two huge events we had at the International Air Modeling Center this year over the summer. We've got the Multi-GP International Open there on top and the IRCHA Jamboree on bottom. We've got coverage of both events in the December issue that you guys can check out. Tim DePerry is covers the IRCHA Jamboree for us for the second year. He's somebody who's on the IRCHA board of directors, and he's involved in running the event. So he brings some added insight into that event. That was held back on August the 4th through the 8th, 2021. And of course, the Multi-GP International Open has an article in there by our own Rachel Hahn talking about the volunteers is what she kind of focused on, because the volunteers really do make that event happen. Without them, they wouldn't be able to put on the kind of event that they do. So you can actually read that article right now. It's up at modelaviation.com. We've got that for you there, as well as the video recap that was produced by producer Dylan, who's behind the scenes right now, and as well as a Flickr gallery of photos that I took while I was out on site for that event, which it was just an incredible time. We've talked about it here on the show. There you see a quick little preview of that video recap as well. I remember when we got that, or when Dylan got that shot, because I thought for sure that camera was taken out by that quad, and in fact, it just gave us the coolest shot ever. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I just want to let you guys know we just got a comment from Jenny, who's part of our magazine staff, posted in the comments. 3 p.m. is when the digital edition should go live, so be sure to check your notifications around 3 p.m. That is less than a half hour from now, and my invisible watch tells me. And speaking of Multi-GP, we wanted to give a shout out to Evan Turner, who just last week during the Multi-GP Championships became the first ever 3-time Multi-GP champion. He went out in dramatic fashion, I might add, because in the Chase the Ace format, you have to win twice, and he won the last 2 heats to become the champion, the first ever 3-time champion. Evan is just an incredibly talented pilot. He not only flies quads, he flies, he's flown IMAC. He's competed in all sorts of different competitions. If it's got wings or if it's got rotors or props, he can just about fly it. So big shout out to him. The top 4 podium there, Evan Turner, of course, is your champion. Patrick Engineer White came in 2nd place. Silas Propsicle Aaron was in 3rd place. And 4th place was Beckett Neukal-Varilli. There is your podium there. So congratulations to those 4 guys. I should note, I know 3 of those 4 guys are 18 and under. So once, just like at IO, it's the battle of the young guns, man. And
young eyes. The young eyes too, man.
the young guns, the young eyes, the young reflexes. It's it's going to be tough to beat those guys, but just means we got to get on the simulators over the winter and get ready for next year because it all resets come springtime. So congratulations to those guys, and also congratulations to all the folks over at Multi GP, Chris Thomas, Tim Barnhart. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on names. Joe Scully
and the rest.
And the rest. I'm gonna. You know what? You guys know who you are. Congratulations to all you guys who put on such an amazing event, not just at IO, but the championships and the global qualifiers you have all throughout the year. So, congratulations to all those folks. We also have Model Aviation Live coming up this Friday. Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, November the 19th, modelaviation.com/live. Jay Smith will be on hand answering your guys' questions. We've got a guest that's almost lined up. We're not going to announce it yet because it's not quite confirmed, but stay tuned to your social media channels. We'll be announcing that here very shortly.
I hope it's me.
Hey, you never know.
By the way,
so Lee, I know last week, obviously you were out at the Round Top event. You were out there for Veterans Day, I assume, correct? On Thursday,
we were. We had a lot of veterans out there. We were very grateful for them, and I like that. We were all just shaking hands with them. There's a nice way to get together and just thank all those guys for their sacrifices.
Very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's one veteran in particular that we wanted to recognize today because it is his birthday. And it is not only just a birthday, but it is his 100th birthday. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Jefferson. You may recognize that name. We've talked about him here on the show in the past. He's one of the Tuskegee Airmen. And he is celebrating his 100th birthday today. They're actually rededicating his club's field up in the Detroit area. They're doing that today. And if you go back to our very first episode of AMA Air, we shared an interview we conducted with the Lieutenant Colonel up there in Michigan. We've got actually almost 30-minute extended interview on our YouTube channel as well. We'll put those links into the comments and so you guys can get to him pretty quickly. But it is his 100th birthday today, and we wanted to wish him the happiest of birthdays because this is certainly a special one.
I want to acknowledge that he is a Distinguished Flying Cross, an Air Medal, and Purple Heart recipient. So
absolutely.
Thank you very much for your sacrifices and your pride of America.
Absolutely. That I tell you, that interview that we did with him was such an incredible experience. He talked about his, growing up in modeling. He talked about his experience, getting into the military and learning how to fly full scale, and his experience being overseas during the war. It was one of those once in a lifetime experiences that you have that you're like, I can't believe I'm actually like in person getting to hear these stories. And I was very, very thankful that I got to be part of that, be there to help with that interview. And I hope you guys get a chance to take a look at it.
Well, that interview will be saved in time. So thank you for sharing that, because there are a lot of people who probably wish they could have met and talked with him, and you had that opportunity to provide that to him.
Absolutely.
So we need to do more of those. We need to find those veterans who are near their hundreds.
Yes.
And make sure their stories are told.
Well, again, want to wish Alexander Jefferson a very, very happy 100th birthday. And guys, one of the ways, or a couple of the ways that we're celebrating Veterans Day, we're celebrating throughout the month of November. We've got a discount code you guys can use over at shop.modelaircraft.org. The code NOV11 for 11% off your order at our modelaircraft.org store, and as well as a discount on our AMA Walk of Fame brick. If you want to order one of those, you can use the discount code VETBRICK, and the website address is modelaircraft.org/AMA Walk of Fame. There's some dashes in there. We'll put that down at the bottom of the screen for you as well. So before we wrap up the show for today, we wanted to let you guys know we have a little bit of some delays in the U.S. mail service. Lee, do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
Oh, okay. Give me the sad story to tell everybody. So if you're on Facebook, we have made announcements. I think we've put them on our LinkedIn and Twitter page too. But unfortunately, the U.S. Postal Service is experiencing delays. They, in fact, I think it was October 1st, actually planned this. They had to shut down or slow down delivery times. And it hit hard some of our members who have been asking where their magazine or where their membership ID cards were. So we promise you that we have been working hard to make sure they were all out on time. I've actually talked with a gentleman via Facebook Messenger who was experiencing delay, but I kept in touch with him, and sure enough, he did receive his copy. So it was taking a little longer than usual. So we ask that you just sit tight and wait a little longer. But if I'm going to say by next week, if you did not receive the November issue of Model Aviation magazine, and you are subscribed to get it and you renewed your membership, let's just make sure a couple of things, because I think we had one guy who was expecting it, but he forgot to renew. Let us know. Call 1-800-I-FLY-AMA, talk with customer service, let them know that you still haven't received it. And I know we're making some concessions to those, and we're trying to get extra magazine issues out because we'd like you to see it. It's a lot of fun. I know that I don't have my issue with me, but I did bring it with me to my event over the weekend, just something to sit down and just look through. And it's just fun it's like a Sears catalog when you were a kid, just to see all the fun toys that are in there and some of the great articles. So again, we apologize for the delay. It's not our fault, but again, call us if you have any concerns or questions.
Absolutely. And of course, if you're a digital subscriber, you can get it later today. So there's always that option for you as well. But we did want to let you guys know about that delay that will be impacting many of our members. So, with all that being said, that is all we have for today's show. Lee, thank you once again for being here and co-hosting with me today. It's been and again, thank you for sharing your story about the Round Top event.
We got a few more minutes left. You want me to talk some more about the Round Top event? I'm sure I could. I could show off my hat. I could show off my little cup that I got. No, I understand. We got
that is actually that is a nice cup. I got to say, I do like that
Texas Woodward thing. I got my little team photographer mug, and it fits perfectly in my car.
How do I not have a team photographer mug?
Well, maybe you should talk to our boss. Maybe he needs to get one for
you. Somebody in the chat just asked if it's snowing behind me. Yes, it is.
Wow.
That's welcome to Indiana. Thank you for pointing it out, Douglas. I was having a great time until you pointed that out. Now it's snowing and I'm sad. Well, in any event, thank you guys so much for watching. Raymond in the comments says to have a good Thanksgiving. I hope all of you guys do have a great Thanksgiving as well, because we won't see you before then. But of course, if you enjoyed today's show, we'd love it if you like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know when we go live. All that stuff that helps us out in all these algorithms and whatnot. So if you enjoyed the show, we'd love it if you do all that stuff. And Lee, why don't you tell them how they can become a member if they're not one already?
Go to modelaircraft.org. It's simple. First, you got to go to the homepage first. I mean, you got to go there, okay? But if you go to membership at the top, or if you go to modelaircraft.org join, there's the link right there, guys. But I'm just going to say, go to modelaircraft.org first. Go enjoy the website. If you haven't been there in a while, we've had some updates and changes. There's lots to learn. We also made an update to our Model Aviation archives. Is that correct, Matt?
That is correct. Our library of past issues of Model Aviation has been kind of having some issues. We've got all that fixed. We don't quite have everything updated to current issues yet, but we have a lot of past issues out there that you guys can check out. That's at our Model Aviation library, and you can find that at modelaviation.com.
Yeah. Or org.
So
that's a web. That's
modelaircraft.org and modelaviation.com is the magazine site. So you guys can go there for the library. But with all that being said, I think it's time for us to get on out of here. We'll see you guys on the next episode of AMA Air. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.